In this video I'm going to tell you about my first impressions of No Man's Sky in 2020. I'll talk about how my gameplay started out, and I'll showcase the components of why this could be your next great love. We'll break down the initial gameplay, the challenges, look and feel, and discuss more generally if this is the right game for you. I'll also talk briefly about Hello Games, the devs behind the scenes, and why that's an important factor when you're considering No Man's Sky. To start out my own gameplay, I picked survival mode to give myself a challenge. There are other modes you can pick, including permadeath, which I would not recommend for new players. I'll talk more about that shortly. There is also a more casual mode, which will just let you enjoy the gameplay without the added challenge. When I first started playing, I found myself on an uncharted planet. Unfortunately, it happened to be an ice planet, which meant that I had limited time to get my bearings. I needed to fuel both my life support, i.e. air to breathe, and my environmental protection, i.e. keeping warm. It was a ticking clock. As I'm sure you can imagine, this led very quickly to me dying a few times because I had no clue what I was doing. Survival mode is very challenging at first. It will give you nothing really to start out with other than the ability to gather resources you need. And if you're like me and you're stranded on an ice planet with no clue what resources to actually collect, you'll have quite a learning curve ahead of you on a very short time frame. This can be a little frustrating at first. However, once you start to grasp the items that you need to collect to allow you to survive, you'll quickly start to find your bearings. Within my first 10 hours of gameplay, I've learned how to survive out in the cold. Sheltered from planetary storms, I've managed to craft myself a basic base of operations, including a shelter, a processing unit to craft more advanced materials, a power supply unit, and even a teleporter. I found alien technology, fixed a spaceship, launched off into the stars and found a space station. Traded with aliens and discovered all sorts of strange creatures, and that's just around one planet. No Man's Sky is immense, and at first it can be overwhelming and a little frustrating to get to grips with, but once you have the basics, you'll begin to see the beginnings of just how huge this game is and the freedom it allows you. Initially, your journey will be somewhat linear. Ultimately, you need to find a way to survive on whichever planet you begin your journey on. But as soon as you learn to survive the basic environmental hazards, your level of freedom to explore expands. Then when you've got your ship fixed and you're ready to fly, your options increase even further. Ultimately, it seems you have almost limitless options available to you. The game includes a lot of customization for both your character and for your ship, but you have to earn the right to unlock those. You don't start by customizing a character. You start in the middle of nowhere and your only thoughts will be, how do I survive this? Not, how do I look? But again, once you've learnt the ropes, you'll find space stations where you can trade, find missions, customise your character, and upgrade your equipment further. No Man's Sky released back in 2016. It's considered to be one of the worst launches in history. They had a huge vision for the game, but it just didn't do well at first. Now, rather than abandon ship and start talking about making No Man's Sky 2, the developers have worked tirelessly on the original title. I won't go through every iteration and update, but just to give you an idea of the dedication, they released No Man's Sky Next in 2018, which introduced multiplayer options for grouping up with friends or meeting strangers. They have since introduced crossplay so that PlayStation 4 players, Xbox One, and PC players will all be able to explore, journey, survive, build and trade together. They have introduced Desolation, which brings a horror element to the game. They have introduced vehicles, space freighters and even mech suits. The graphics have been upgraded over time too, so that Ultra HD resolutions are now supported. The game is beautiful as well as deep. One thing I love about how the gameplay starts out, you're totally alone and you've got to find a way to survive and join the stars. Then when you do, the options are insane. There are community quests to get into, space battles, you can meet alien races and even go exploring underwater. An important note too is that all of the above improvements were completely free. Hello Games have worked for years and introduced so many DLCs and patches and haven't charged anyone a penny. Now, gamers who started with No Man's Sky at launch will have earned the free updates because the game needed it according to the feedback I've seen. But still, for a developer to give this much and no extra charge, that really isn't a common occurrence. My first impressions of No Man's Sky were fraught with struggle and frustration, but I couldn't put the damn game down. And now I'm at the point where I'm just starting to spread my wings and I really want to see what comes next. If you enjoy exploration, survival, co-op, you like the thought of a game where you can build your own place to call home and customise it in any number of ways, join a huge online community regardless of what platform you're playing on, then I would recommend you give this game a shot. The game has so much potential and the developers just keep working. There is another update coming for No Man's Sky later this week called Origins. It is said to be another step on the journey and the beginning of something big for the game, so I'm excited to see what Hello Games have in store for us. I hope you found this useful. Leave me a like and comment if you don't mind, sub if you're new, and I'll wrap it up there. Thank you for watching, take care, stay safe, bye bye now.